Familiar Wilson's Media. Relationships are the story.
You are made of meat, my friend, all the way down.
The following podcast uses words like and also. If you're not into any of that shit, then now's your chance.
3, 2, 1.
Run.
Super familiar with Wilson's.
Welcome to Super Familiar with the Wilsons. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Josh.
And I'm Collin.
And this is the podcast about Marriage 2.0 with all the side quests and kids. I always get that wrong.
You get it wrong. You say kids, I say side quest. It's fine.
Oh my God. It's because Colin's here.
It's because we have a guest.
I'll leave.
No, stay please.
No, you've got to stay. We've planned this whole hour around you. Folks, this is Collin Whitlock. He is a Gainesville treasure, and we're going to talk to him about storytelling. But first, how many English cities can you name that aren't London?
Oh,
okay.
My God.
York. Wait, I'm trying to think of a specific one. Okay, so there's Liverpool.
You better get Liverpool.
Yeah. Cirencester. That's the one I was trying to think of before. Cirencester. Sussex. And I think maybe Essex too. Oxford.
Okay.
Yorkshire.
Now, you've done a pretty good job. Our friends, the Belsons, who live in Slough, which is where the original office, and right next to London, they're honorary Wilsons. Dan Belson asked me yesterday randomly, what do you think the most famous cities in England are?
Oh, okay.
Right, and because he was having a text conversation with his friends, and he wanted the opinion of a foreigner.
And then you took it upon yourself to just start listing cities.
Well, I did that, but I went around work and I asked the people at work how many they could name, right? So I asked about 10 people or so. 5 of them said Liverpool, which obviously with the Beatles connection,
right,
people are going to probably know that. 3 said Manchester.
Okay, Man U.
Man U. 2 said Birmingham.
Okay. Yes.
Newcastle, too.
See, now you're thinking through all the Premier League teams. 1 said Woking.
Woking is a place.
It is. No. 1 said Downton. Not a place.
But as an abbey. 1 didn't
know any. And 1 commented that they thought that Nottingham was fictional. So I'm just wondering, like, in general, are people aware of, England, the UK is a pretty big place. It's a pretty well-known place.
Sure. Yeah.
And
by big place, you mean well-known, because it's not a big country.
Well, it used to be a big place. But.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I'm not playing because I was in that text thread, and I said the Cotswolds, which it's not even a city. It's just a...
You're so, as they would say, you're so posh, because you name check basically the British equivalent of the Hamptons.
Yeah. It's because I read British fiction, and they all, contemporary fiction, and they all want to go to the Cotswolds for, like, vacay. So that's why. And then the other one I named was Stratford-upon-Avon, which nobody said.
Very good.
Where are my Shakespeare people? But yeah, I'm just happy that you didn't make me count them, because I don't know. Colin's been listening to the previous podcast. I don't know if you happened to get to the one where Josh made me count how many fruits and vegetables he could name at bedtime.
No, I haven't got there. I can't wait.
So we were like going to sleep. It's like 10 something, and I am going to sleep. And I typically fall asleep with like an audiobook or something in my ear. And he's just, how many fruits or vegetables can you name?
How many foods?
How many foods can you name? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, but no. I said 1,000. And then he was like questioning whether or not I could name 1,000. So then he starts naming foods.
Right.
But he wants me to count out loud as he's doing it.
That's a big ask.
And it was, oh my God. So I'm just happy that this did not happen at bedtime and I have to count anything.
Speaking of bedtime, you just reminded me of 2 other cities that I know of, because Audrey and I, when we go to bed separately, before we met, I would say like, oh, it's time to go to Beddingham. Oh. And she would say, it's time to go to Bedfordshire. And I made the argument like, at least Beddingham's a real place. And she said, well, Bedfordshire is too.
Bedfordshire is too.
We looked it up and they both exist. I didn't even realize that it actually existed.
I would not have thought Beddingham was. I would have believed in Bedfordshire, but yeah.
Do you believe in Bedfordshire? Folks out there, can you name English cities besides London? Email us at familiarwilsons@gmail.com. Now back to Collin. Collin, you have your own podcast that we'll let you pitch at the end if we make it to the end.
That's Josh's way of saying you have to stay.
Right. That's I won't leave. Yeah.
But Collin, you're here to talk about storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're here to talk about that because you have this really amazing event that you do called Show and Tell. How long's that been going on?
3 or 4 years. I'm bad at that. I think it's 4 years.
And we went for the first time a couple months ago, and I'm kicking myself for not having gone before because it was just such an amazing experience. If you had to give me the elevator pitch on what show and tell is, what is it?
Okay, so I was, for 15 years, I was a public school teacher. I taught reading and language arts in 8th grade. And my favorite part of that was sitting and talking with the class and like letting the kids have their perspective and their input and their questions and things like that. It was just the best day. So a lot of days, that's what we did. We would read and we would talk and we'd kind of share. I also, I've always loved storytelling. I used to go to the storytelling event that used to be held at Satchel's called The Conch, and it was hosted by Natalie Nix. And that was an impromptu storytelling night. It was whoever was at Satchel's that night would be able to come up and tell a story. And a lot of times it was just awful, like rambling, random stories, but it was beautiful. I loved it. Around the time that ended, I also stopped teaching in the public school system and started teaching privately. And I had 2 holes in my heart. The conch was gone and my classroom was gone. I really missed it. And so Jacob Larson at the Bull and I sort of concocted this plan to have an impromptu storytelling event where people could have the chance to prepare if they wanted to, but also they could just be there and we could talk and share. And we kind of wanted to combine as much as we could the spirit of Pee-wee's Playhouse with being ridiculous and kind of inane. And also Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where we made sure that we made time for silence, made time for introspection, and tried to create a neighborhood. It
is unlike anything I've ever been to.
Thank you.
It is truly amazing. If you were to tell me, okay, we're going to have a storytelling event, what I would think was, oh, this is going to be awful. because most people aren't public speakers. Most people don't really know how to order their thoughts and be able to deliver. When you say storytelling, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read this story and it's going to have a beginning and it's going to make a lot of sense. That's not necessarily what happens with your thing, but somehow it works.
Yeah.
Why does it work?
I think because somehow the environment has, I can't take full credit or even the majority of credit, but the Bull itself, the atmosphere there is like a safe place, I think, and very welcoming to everyone, or at least it's attempting to be welcoming to everyone. And so far, I think it's doing a great job. And so I think there's a certain level of safety there. And then the atmosphere that has been created within Show and Tell and within the community that shows up for it is incredibly supportive and incredibly embracing of our differences. People come up there and will say things that I can tell the rest of the audience disagrees with or might feel uncomfortable with, but everybody is there to try to figure out, well, why? Like, how did this person get there? Why are they feeling the way they do? And we find a way to support that. We find a way to be curious about it. And somehow that has built up into this incredible atmosphere of support and curiosity and kind of goofiness too.
One of the things that you do to open it is that you have this collective moaning time. Not what you think it would be when I say collective moaning time. Not that kind of show. But first of all, describe what that is, and then how does that come about?
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I think that's another part that leads to the safety element. So we start every show and tell with a moan and groan. And the moan and groan is something that I learned from one of my students who would have this, each time we would get together, he would be anxious and, would have that classic demand avoidance of like, I don't want to do school right now. I don't want to, whatever it is. And he'd be really upset.
This sounds like Winthrop, but go ahead.
We should just let him moan and groan first.
Totally. I mean, and that's what he would do. I could tell that he felt bad or felt foolish, kind of. And we figured out together that, like, actually, this feels really good. It's nice to let out that tension. So we started doing it at the beginning of every tutoring. We would say, okay, let's think about what's making us angry right now. Let's think about what is bothering us. And then we'd get there, and then we would really be obnoxious with it, and we would always end up laughing, and we'd always end up feeling better. And so the first show and tell, I can remember being really nervous. And I don't think we did it the first episode, actually. I just remember being really nervous, and everything went well and everything. But the next time we had one, I had this lesson with my student, and I thought, this can help everybody. And so what we do is I tell the audience, let's take a moment of silence and try to allow our stressors to find us, because in our society, we're taught to stuff them down. We're supposed to stiff upper lip, power through, be tough, all that stuff, which is complete misdirection, because being tough isn't stuffing down things. Being tough means facing them. And honoring the pain and the struggle that we've got. So I would tell the audience, let's close our eyes, let's have a moment of silence, let the anxiety find you, and when it finds you, instead of pushing it away, squeeze it, hold on to it, really let it kind of take over, do the opposite of what you're, normally going to do. And then we count down from 3, and when we get down to 1, we all together just let out the most obnoxious moaning and groaning we can. People stomp their feet, people pound on the tables, people put their hands up in the air and scream. And then when we get done, I can feel it in the room. There is like a release, and everyone's kind of relaxed, and we've all been ridiculous together already. And so now we can move on.
So my experience, I've only been to one show and tell, because the last one I was traveling, so I was really sad to miss it. But my experience with that was, oh gosh, I feel like this is going to feel really, really silly. Like you're poised for it, but because it's happening as a collective,
right?
It doesn't, it's really incredibly powerful.
I agree.
It's so interesting. The last one you missed, there was a point where I was very uncomfortable.
Were you?
Yeah, because someone got up and was talking about polyamory.
Oh, yeah.
And not in my tradition, not anything I'm familiar with. And I was sitting right in the front row, and I was uncomfortable. Yeah. But I was like, okay, what am I going to do with that? And it was just very interesting. I opened myself up to... Not to polyamory. Okay. I'm fine. I'm not going to say. And the other reason why Collin is here is because. But I appreciated being in a place where I could be uncomfortable, and I felt that it was okay for me to be uncomfortable, and even to show that I was a little uncomfortable.
Right.
And it gives you the space to maybe like push on that a little bit. Like, why am I uncomfortable?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, one of the things that you do is that in between the stories, you will have reflections on that. It's very good because you help the audience process, right? That's how I interpret what you're doing. You give reflections on what is said, you maybe add to it, and then you bridge to maybe what the next direction that we might go. And I love that. Have you ever been so taken aback by a story that you didn't know what to say?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, and that's one of my rules for myself at show and tell, is that I'm not allowed to force anything. I'm only allowed to share something that I'm actually feeling or thinking. I've unintentionally broken that rule before when I have an agenda where I hope we get somewhere, and so I'm trying to steer the ship, but it always blows up in my face. And at some point in the show, I'll realize like, oh, I'm doing the thing. I'm breaking my rule. And so yeah, there have been times where somebody will tell a story. I wish I could think of a good example right now. Well, there was a time where, the spirit of show and tell is that I want people wherever they're at to share, and that means being open to a lot of different things and not being able to predict. We had somebody who I could tell as soon as they got started that they were looking for an audience to perform for. And, I could tell maybe they've had opportunities in small settings with like a couple of people at a table to do their impressions. They were doing voices and impressions. And so this person went up and proceeded to kind of do a stand-up bit of all and was asking the audience, like, give me somebody to do. Tell me, I'll do, Mel Gibson. I'll do, who, I don't know if that's the person that he said. That would be a weird impression, but
just get up and be anti-Semitic for a few minutes.
Right, yeah. But about, by the time he was finished, I just remember thinking, like, I've got nothing to say right now. Except like, wow. And that's the only thing I allowed myself to say. It's sort of like, wow, okay, that was amazing, way to go. And there have definitely been times where I just go up to the mic and say, nothing I can say right now is going to help with what just happened. So who's got something else, And sitting in that silence sometimes is really difficult. That's something that Natalie Nix did really well when she hosted the Conch. She would say, like, all right, who wants to tell another story? And we might be sitting there for a full minute of silence. And she would just sit and kind of had the smile on her face, content. And I'd be like, somebody please go.
Wait time is hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
So we do this thing at work, and it's funny because coming from the education space, I'm sure you're familiar with opening moves because like people either love them or hate them when you start a staff meeting or whatever. But there's one called Connections.
Can you explain opening moves to people who aren't familiar?
Okay. So an opening move would be we're all going to be in this room together and we're going to start either a training, a facilitation, a meeting, but it's meant to kind of ground everybody together, right? Like moaning and groaning would be an opening move, I would say. It's a way of getting started. But we do one called Connections. Are you familiar with Connections?
Sounds familiar.
Connections is a space for anybody to share. It is not a space to respond. It is not a space to ask questions. It is just you open and you start it with connections are open, and then you can sit in silence for 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. It just depends on when somebody decides to share, and it can be anything that they're coming to the space with. And then you could probably say something and I could say, adding on to what Collin said, I'm feeling this or I'm thinking this.
Right.
But it can get really uncomfortable because I've been in connection spaces where no one's talked for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a really hard space to sit in, but really kind of important. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. But it's really, it's incredibly powerful though, to watch it start to like waterfall, like once people start doing it. So.
That reminds me of the structure of Quaker meetings. Are you familiar with that? No. It's a really wonderful thing that I learned about from my old roommate, Bri Blackmore, and my friend Haley Hillman. At Quaker meetings.
Do you just know people whose names are alliterations?
Mostly. I try to. You guys are the exception. Yeah. But at Quaker meetings, I don't know if this is all the time, but at certain Quaker meetings, or maybe all of them, they get together, they congregate, they sit, but nobody leads the meeting. You sit in silence and you wait for inspiration. And if you are struck with a message to give to the group that feels so important that you simply cannot go on without saying it, you stand up and you say the thing. It might be a complete non sequitur. It might have nothing to do with anything that's going on, but you stand up, you give your message, and you sit back down, and it goes back to silence. And there's nobody there to prompt. There's nobody there to push. And sometimes the Quaker meeting, you go the whole hour or half hour, I can't remember how long, you go the whole time and nobody speaks. It's just the silence. And when I learned about that, I wanted to incorporate that as much as I could into show and tell, where, I do want to transition from story to story, but I also want to leave that opening for people who maybe somebody just came into the bull. They don't know what's going on. They just see some weird dude up there on a microphone screaming. And then halfway through, something that somebody talks about springs some sort of message for them, and all of a sudden they stand up and they say, well, I don't know what's going on here, but I want to say this. And that's the best to me. That feels celestial. It feels very important.
See, it's interesting that you're bringing that language into it, because one of the reasons why I'm drawn to this event is I'm missing that space to consider the spiritual, to consider things larger than myself in a group of people. Because I grew up in the church, and Amanda did as well, and we don't go anymore for reasons, but there are a lot of aspects of that we miss.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you right now, Collin, you do such a good job with these show and tell. If you start a cult, I would join it. I would be first in line. Give me my robes, here are my shoes, burn them, whatever. The event is larger than what it is, and I really appreciate it.
It gives to me as much as as anyone else. It really is. I think it's spiritual too, and I grew up Catholic, and I'm not now, right? But there is that I didn't have that connection to. I didn't miss the Catholic Church, but what I did miss was, in high school I kind of joined in with Young Life for a little while, and I remember thinking like, oh, this is what faith can be like. Like people can be having fun and like nice to each other for the most part. There was definitely some not nice things happening too, but and so I pulled away from that, but I remember thinking like, this feels really good. Playing music is similar to that. We're all in a room together and we're here for the same purpose, and the amount that each side puts into it only increases the enjoyment and the spiritual connection, more and more and more. And so the classroom felt like that when kids would actually feel comfortable to share vulnerabilities and things like that, magic moments there. And so, show and tell is meant to be that as well. I had somebody come up to me once. They came to their first show and tell, and afterward, people were congregating, talking. I went outside, and she was standing by herself, and I could tell that she had tears in her eyes or on her cheeks, and I went up to her and I said, "Are you doing okay? Are you all right?" And she looked at me very suspiciously, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, like, right now? Like, I'm just checking on you. I want to make sure you're okay. And she was like, no. I mean, in there, like, is this religious? Do you have like a religion that is behind this? And I said, absolutely not. No, I mean, you couldn't be farther from the truth. Absolutely not. And she goes, well, and this is when I found out that she had been raised in a intensely religious community, and she was having like a negative reaction because she was kind of having flashbacks to this like communal feeling, and she couldn't separate the good feeling from like the scary feeling. And that really was important for me to hear, to think like, okay, people might be, I can't tell what people are experiencing through this. And those wounds are deep in people.
And that's why I see the thing that you're doing as being, at least for us, at least for me, is being healing because of that.
Thanks.
Because, I'm recognizing the positives and I'm getting those with none of the negatives. So I love that. So when is your next show and tell?
It's the second Tuesday of every month. So I should know this off the top of my head, but
I didn't know it was the second Tuesday. That's great.
Yeah. So the next one's March 10th, and then the one after that will be April 14th, and then May 12th.
Can you keep going the rest of the year?
The rest of the year. every second Tuesday.
Actually, I think May 12th is the last one for a couple months. And then, so there we go. I did get there.
How far in advance do you come up with the themes?
Usually it's the week of.
Okay. Do you wait to be moved by something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, show and tell is highly spiritual for me. It's not pointed in any particular direction, but what I found is that I feel like my job is to provide the time and the space and to just pay attention, right? And to listen. And so when it comes to themes, I try to avoid obvious ones. Like in February,
you didn't do love.
I didn't want to do like Valentine's Day or something like that. But things that come up for me in the weeks leading up to it almost always surface before, like about a week before, and I'll think, this is actually something I've been thinking about a lot, and sometimes it aligns. Like in February, we didn't do love, but we did change. And one of the quotes that helped me kind of solidify, like, this is where I'm going, is a quote that Laurel Nesbitt told me from a Bell Hooks book, and it was, love is the, I'm going to butcher this though, but love is the amount we are willing to extend ourselves for our own or another's spiritual growth, right? And so that extending oneself theme really struck me where I was at, and it was immediate. I was talking, when Laurel said it to me, I was like, oh, okay, you just gave it to me today. Thank you.
Love Bell Hooks. Love Laurel.
Yeah.
So Both fabulous.
And that quote is from somebody else, with last name Scott, but I can't remember who it is right now. But Bell Hooks quoted the quote.
Yeah. I kind of jokingly said the last time when I was there that we need to have a perimenopause show and tell. Now I'm thinking we just need a moan and groan. And I think it just needs to be like a room full of, and you were like, well, I can't lead that one. I'm like, no, I get that. But it's because 2 other people had gotten up to share before that and mentioned perimenopause brain. And then the women around me started commenting on it. And it's interesting because we're in this like Gen X millennial space where women now are talking about it and finding community and in like experiencing this thing together, where I think that our mother's generations were like, lock it down, we don't talk about it.
Right.
Like it's very, and it was interesting because I was talking to friend Kate, and I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's her story to tell, but she was, talking to her therapist, which that's okay to say because everybody should have a therapist, but about
Agreed.
Her therapist was actually telling her to get on social media to find community for perimenopause. Like where most people are telling you like,
Interesting.
Get off social media and like connect with real people. But her point was like, there is a movement and you all need support. So yeah, I don't know, maybe a moan and groan. I'm not sure, but I definitely think there's a space for all of us who are experiencing such weird stuff. Like who knew frozen shoulder was a hormonal response? That's the thing we get. You guys don't know this. So
Nope, I didn't know that.
Yep. No,
I just had to repeat frozen shoulder in my head to make sure I heard you right.
Frozen shoulder is a hormonal symptom from perimenopause.
Is that different than when you give me the cold shoulder?
Yes, it's different.
Very good. But it's the lead up to it.
Would you like to practice now, though?
Yeah. Okay. Just warn me when you're having this one about.
It only happens when you at like perimenopause is something that I'm doing upon you.
I mean,
it's not something that is happening to me, and you just happen to be near it. But yeah.
I encourage everyone within the sound of my voice who's also within driving or perhaps even flying distance of Gainesville, second Tuesday of every month. Come to the show and tell and bring a story or two.
Yeah, come to the bowl. You come to the bowl any night, really.
Yes.
But
that's true.
Especially the second Tuesday of every month.
It's time to play What the Fuck is John Saying? Yes, that's right. John Watson is our Scottish friend, and he kindly sends us Scottish phrases and words for us to interpret. Colin, are you ready to play?
Absolutely not. Let's do it.
This is, I think that this will be an easier one. Or I understand 100% John's particular brand of Scottish. He sent the audio. And then he says, I'll also send a text. And I said, you know what, John? I understood that one. No text needed.
Oh, okay.
All right,
so maybe this is an easy one.
So maybe this is easy. So ready? And folks, you can play along at home. What the fuck is John saying here?
Here's one for you. What's for you will no go by you.
Nope.
You're going to have to do it again.
I'll play it again. Folks, listen up. You may have gotten them, John. Ready? Here you go.
What's for you will no go by you. So that's what's for you will no go by you.
How is that easy to you?
What's funny?
I just want to say, he says, here's one for you.
Right. Yeah, here's one for you.
We have that one.
I knew that. I knew that was a thing.
All right, one more time. Here's John.
What's for you will no go by you.
What's Fergie no baye is what I heard.
Yeah.
Is that what you heard?
I thought maybe it was what's funny, but Onugu baye. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. I'm a little shocked. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play his whole explanation here.
Okay. What's for you will no go by you. So that's what's for you will no go by you. It just means whatever's meant to happen will happen. There's no getting away with it. It's fate. It's Final Destination stuff. So that's what's for you will no go by you.
What's for you will not go by you.
Yep, there you
go. What's for you will not go by you.
I mean, I like the sentiment, but that's not what he said.
No,
he said
absolutely.
No go baye is what he said.
No go baye.
What's for you will no go by you.
All right, then.
So thank you,
Thanks,
Colin,
John.
for playing along with us. John, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Listen
thank you,
to
John.
John's podcast, 100 Things We Learned from Film. In a world where science keeps pushing the boundaries, we've just crossed the tastiest one yet. Introducing Chizzard, the incredible chicken-lizard hybrid brought to you by cutting-edge science and a dash of backyard brilliance. Thanks to years of research, Chizzard is more than just your lovable backyard companion. It's now your new favorite dinner. Need a wing or a leg for tonight's meal? No problem. Just trim it off, toss it on the grill, and watch your meal grow back in no time. It's science with a side of mashed potatoes. That's right, Chizzard is the only pet that regenerates, meaning no more tough choices between your beloved buddy and your barbecue cravings. Mom, Chizzard just grew back another leg. Can we have drumsticks tonight? With Chizzard, it's a renewable source of deliciousness right from your backyard. No grocery runs, no guilt. Just fresh, science-approved, regenerative meal. Adopt your Chizzard today and taste the future of food. Chizzard, it's your pet and your plate. It's love at first bite.
Star Wars Billy Bob Thornton screen test, take 1.
Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy.
Well, I like them French fried potatoes.
Welcome back to the conversation. Tell me who I'm talking to. Let's get on down to imagination. You are me and I am you. You're super familiar. Super familiar. I wanna be super familiar. Don't be a stranger.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, I have a thing that somebody said this week, but I can understand it. So occasionally I will write down things that Winthrop, the 9-year-old, says when I'm driving with him, because so recently I was asking him about school and he didn't want to talk about school because he's like, I've done school all day long. I don't want to talk about school.
That's how I used to feel too.
Yeah. And so then I said, well, I'm just trying to talk to you. And let's talk about something. He goes, fine, let's talk about creating a budget and financial planning.
Okay.
And I was like, so basically what he did was shut me down because he knew I didn't want to talk about that. But this is my 9-year-old. So I had him in the car the other day and we're at the space where it's hit or miss with my music because he wants to listen to his playlists, which are like gaming, like soundtracks and stuff. So I was listening to Train, Marry Me the other day. And he goes, what is this? And I said, it's a song. He was like, can you please turn this off? Like he was so judging of my whatever. But then another song came on. It's Patrick Baker's Go With You. Or Honey, Go With Me. And in it, he's talking about I'll follow you through green grass and heather. And he started laughing. And I said, well, heather is, he's like, no, I know what heather is. He was like, but aren't you not supposed to follow someone? And I was like, what? And then he goes, okay, so I wrote it down. Aren't you not supposed to follow someone? I mean, you can follow in their footsteps, but not their personality. You know what I mean?
Oh.
What?
Wow.
So basically, he was trying to talk about not being somebody that you're not.
Right.
I thought that he was trying to tell you shouldn't stalk someone.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I
same.
thought too. Yeah.
But it's just saying that you should be a nonconformist.
You should be your own person. But he's like, you could, and he said those words, you can follow in someone's footsteps, but not their personality, which is a lot for a 9-year-old in my life. But then I started getting really philosophical about what does it mean to follow in someone's footsteps, but not copy who they were.
Right.
Anyway, this is what I brought you from Winthrop this week.
Yeah, that's because a lot of times the following in someone's footsteps does include personality. You know, when people use that phrase. And so making the delineation between the two, I can do the things that you do, but stay me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not ready for this kid.
Sure you are. Nothing if it's not for you.
That's right. It'll go by you. And
it'll go by you. Yeah.
He showed up here.
All right, so now we're going to smoothly transition to my favorite segment, Fess Holes.
Oh.
Fess Holes.
Are you familiar with Fess Holes?
No.
Fess Holes is my favorite social media account where people just give anonymous confessions. And so I like to read them and kind of see if it's something that resonates with us.
This might be triggering for your Catholicism.
Sure.
Past.
I think that all of them are pretty fun. So here we go. Spent a good 2 hours wandering around my house one evening trying to locate the intermittent weird whistling noise. Turned out it was my left nostril.
Yeah.
You would do this. This is why you find this funny.
I mean, my left nostril has made a whistling noise every now and again. Listen, you talk about change. This show and tell that you did, I did my little thing on how like my body is changing in ways that are very upsetting.
Yeah.
Very upsetting.
Did you share that poem on the podcast yet?
I don't remember if I have or not.
I think you should.
Yeah, I might one of these days. Yeah.
About getting old.
Yeah, about losing things.
I loved that.
Lost my eyeglasses, lost my hair, losing my will to live, but I don't care. Except it was a little bit more lyrical than that. All right, next one. Wife set the smart bulb in our room to turn on off when someone claps. You can probably guess what happens when we had sex.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. But why is she recreating the clapper? Like, just tell it to turn off.
That would turn me off if all of a sudden it was a light show there. People would think that you're having a rave.
That's right.
From outside.
She just needs to put like a black light or some kind of bulb in it that's more interesting.
All right, next. Recently bought a smoothie maker. Been really getting into it, experimenting with mixes, been eating a lot of fruit. Just done the best shit I've ever done in years. Fully formed, no straining, didn't touch the sides, no wiping. Thought I'd tell the internet.
Why do we need to know this?
Listen, it's an anonymous confession.
And it's a win, too.
Okay, all right. Good job.
Yeah.
But then you don't have people, I guess people can comment saying good job. I was like, but then you don't get the validation, but I guess you do.
How much validation are you desperate for if you need a validation on your shit?
Well, apparently a lot because went to Fess Hole to talk about it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. No pictures. Didn't happen.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I don't want the pictures. Thank you.
Is that where you stand on poo? Like, we can talk about it, but no pictures.
I don't want the pictures. Yeah. I'm good. Yep.
My sister and I have an agreement that if we ever poo any letters or fun shapes... then it's okay to take a picture and send it.
And have there been pictures exchanged?
Well, I hope that is excluding the lowercase L.
Right. Sorry, you said I could do this.
No, it's an I. There's the dot.
Oh, my God.
I feel like, no, I don't think we've actually ever sent a picture, although I almost did because I got pretty close to an uppercase Q, which I thought was pretty impressive. Yeah.
That is quite the relationship to have with your sibling.
Yeah.
Good.
What do you mean pretty close to
I don't know. We don't need to.
I'll tell you later. I'll show you the picture.
Visuals, yes.
My only comment is I don't care who you are and how quickly it goes. Like it achieves terminal velocity going out, you still have to wipe. Yes. Last one.
Wait, did that confession say that he didn't have to wipe?
Yeah. Oh, fully formed. Which fully formed, by the way.
I don't know what that means.
No straining, didn't touch the sides, no wiping.
No wiping?
No, that's not okay with me.
No, that's a. How do you even know that you don't need to wipe unless you wipe?
You don't know.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Last one. Dumped my girlfriend when I saw she had an ongoing one-sided DM session with Harry Styles' Instagram. She was using it like a diary.
Aw.
That's sad.
No, I think that's cute.
That she was just like, Dear Harry?
Yeah.
But no, it's sad that why did he break up with her about that?
Well, he was jealous.
Oh, okay.
He is so far away from polyamory, that guy.
So he's like, you should be telling me all of your thoughts,
yes.
Harry Styles is social
But I was
media
thinking
manager.
about it. It's like having a picture in your living room that you talk to.
Yeah.
Like we've got the lovely painting of Evan McIntyre there on the wall.
He just showed up like a month ago.
Yes. A friend from long ago who moved out of Gainesville. I could talk to that picture. Evan will never hear me talking to that picture, but it makes me feel good to talk. That's what's happening here. Is making this girl feel good to talk to Harry, even though she knows Harry or his team will never see it.
Do we think that she knows that, or do we think that she's just like, if I keep being really persistent, eventually someone will listen? That's sad. I'm sad by your story.
Does it matter?
So this is a departure, but pictures in living rooms. Did I ever tell you that? So my mom got really into, God, what was that Robert Redford movie, The Horse Whisperer?
Oh, yeah.
Like she and my aunt went to see it so many times. And then my mom took down all of the family photos in the living room and hallway and replaced them with like just still pictures of Robert Redford to see if my dad would notice. And he never did.
Oh. You remember that time that I put googly eyes on
God.
the pictures of you to see if you would notice?
Because you were mad at me. Yes. We had an argument. This was like 5 or 6 years ago. We had an argument. I don't know what it was about, but I left the house and I came back and Josh had taken a packet of googly eyes and put them on all of the pictures of me in the house. It was like his like non-aggressive way of being like getting back at me.
That is some of the healthiest communication I've ever heard of.
No one likes to be told what to do.
And now's the time of the program where we tell you what to do. Amanda, what should we do?
So I'm going to recommend these drinks called Trip, and that makes it sound like they have THC in them, but they don't. It's magnesium, L-theanine, or however we say that, and like ashwagandha and lion's mane and all these, like this herbal thing. I get them at Whole Foods. But I've replaced having wine at the house with this, and it is a much healthier way of just chilling out at night. And so in my attempts I'm working with a nutritionist and to get myself back into a healthier place physically, I'm going to recommend these Trip drinks, and they've got Calm, like the Calm app branding on them, because I guess it's a collab. Everybody collabs these days. But yeah, that's what I'm going to recommend if you're looking to replace your alcohol at night. It's been a good thing.
Cool. Collin, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, when you first said it, I thought, oh my gosh, I have nothing. And now I have like 3.
You may give 3 because you are a guest.
Ooh, okay. I was going to recommend, I immediately think about food because I'm food driven. So Audrey and I now have been lucky enough to go to the Dunbar twice for dinner.
We were talking about it last night. We wanted to go, but I assume we need reservations.
I think you do. Totally worth it. I can't say enough. The food is incredible. The staff is really polite, kind. Polite's not the word I'm looking for actually at all. I mean, they are polite, but they're just kind and fun to be around. Mm-hmm. Drinks are fantastic. The atmosphere is fantastic. I love their mission. I couldn't say more about them. So love the Dunbar. I also immediately thought of my favorite spots that I go to at the Monday Farmers Market at Cypress and Grove. Mm-hmm. I love Laura House Bakery. The bread there is incredible. And Nicoya Farms for my veggies. Mm-hmm. Their veggies are fantastic. And you can volunteer at Nicoya Farms on, I think it's like Wednesdays or Thursdays. And it's really fun. And they let you go home with an armful of vegetables and stuff like that, which is really neat. And you guys were talking about bagels. There's a stand there called Bagel Corp, and this lady makes homemade bagels, and she's hilarious, and she's really nice, and kids get bagels for free.
Oh, how lovely. Yeah. I wanted to go check it. So my office does the Monday Cypress and Grove Farmers Market on Mondays is like people leave and go over there after work. Yeah. I've not done it yet because I've been traveling, but I need to go meet the bagel lady because I need to know, because we have a sesame allergy in the house, a lot of bread now just lists sesame, even if it's not an ingredient because of shared whatever. And I want to check because that's the one thing that Muffy misses the most is bagels. Yeah. So thank you. That's great.
My recommendation is Collin's podcast. Collin, what is your podcast all about?
My podcast, the title is Here for the Moment. We just started season 2, and we've changed our name. The name for season 1 was Find a Way, and the basic idea behind it, the reason why I started it was I catch myself all the time in this community. One of the reasons why I did show and tell as well, realizing like, wow, we really have a special thing here in Gainesville. It's really, and I've had people from out of town comment on it. We have friends who've moved to New York City, to other big, Austin, Seattle, all this stuff. They all talk about how Gainesville's got this special thing that is really hard to find other places. And I'd be having conversations with people like you two, and I think, oh my God, this is important enough to be heard by other people. We're not celebrities, but we have important, deep conversations, and I think they should be heard. And I also have this thing personally where I have this picture in my head of me when I'm like 80 years old. And I think of my grandfather, actually, when he was in his 70s, his favorite thing to do after he was done being cool and funny and all that stuff, he would go into his room, put on his headphones and listen to records, because he wasn't into what was on TV so much anymore, wasn't into like the new music or anything like that, but he'd love to go and listen to his records. And I picture myself kind of doing the same thing when TV shows aren't being made for me anymore, movies aren't being made for me anymore, and I know for sure that I'm going to love going back and listening to these conversations that I had with people. And so I always tell my guests on the show, my foremost goal here is to just record us talking and have an archive of it. And if you decide afterward that you don't want this out, it's not going to disappoint me. That's fine with me, because I've got the thing that I really want. But it kind of helps me justify having people come into my little office and recording for an hour or two. I can say like, oh, well, I've got this podcast, but really I've just got this archive.
I know I've got this captive conversational partner.
Yeah, we've got like almost 6 years now of this podcast that I still go back and I listen.
You do. I don't ever listen to any of the old things, but I keep thinking like this is a great thing for our kids to have someday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Although they'll be mortified at most of the things we talk about. But
you know what I love, though? Something that really shifted me in my life was when my grandfather passed away. I had this moment where I desperately was hoping that he had a journal that I could find and read. And like, because at his funeral, I had this moment where I realized like all these people here know this person in a way that I don't.
Oh, yeah.
And I only got this, like, I'm your grandfather, so this is who you get to see me as. And suddenly I thought, this person I love so much, I don't know. And I really think it's important for family members to get, to see as much of the authentic you as possible.
That's really interesting.
And even it's the reason why I keep a journal, and probably also the reason why I love recording conversations and things like that, is even the stuff that's ugly. Like if I have kids and grandkids and things like that, or friends, I want them to see how wrong I was at times and how many mistakes I made and things like that. So this whole like perfect image that we present, or some people present, I've done a pretty good job not doing that, but I want to dispel that as often as possible.
It's like a fully formed human, like a whole rounded human.
Yeah. What better way to like teach and inspire than to be vulnerable and
yeah. And incredibly important, because especially now I worry about, and Muffy and I talk about Winthrop a lot, but I really worry about what has become the example of masculinity in our country for young men.
Yeah.
And that's especially concerning. So the more that we can see grown men leading in spaces where vulnerability is okay and discomfort is okay, and that being soft isn't a weakness is incredibly important.
Not only is it not a weakness, I think it's the epitome of strength. Yeah, for sure.
All right, we will make sure to keep recording our conversations then.
Okay,
good.
All of them.
Yeah.
Even when I have to count foods and vegetables at night.
God, if we'd have just fucking recorded that's an episode right there.
Oh my God,
that is an
the
episode.
worst thing that had ever happened to me.
Do you think you could hit 20 in 15 seconds?
Ooh,
20
go.
what?
20
foods.
No, I'm not your performing monkey. Put your phone down.
Just saying. The timer started.
No. What do you mean the timer has started?
You got 10
Tomatoes, salad,
1, 2,
monkey
3,
bread,
4,
ladies' fingers,
5,
bread, friends of the library. I don't know, dude. I'm not good under pressure. Get out of here.
Sorry.
All right, wonderful. I'm editing that shit out. All right, Collin and Amanda, that's all there is. There is no more. What do you think of that mess?
I love that.
I'm just happy somebody else is here to answer that question, because he asks me every time. I'm like, I liked it. It was great. It was better than Cats. I don't know what to say every time.
You can say that to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming over.
We will have to do it again on yours.
Yes, please.
All right, today's episode was recorded in a tower guarded by a grumpy, flatulent dragon who is a sucker for bean pies.
Nope, don't like any of it.
Much thanks, as always, to the people without whom we could not record this episode or any episode. We have Antonio, the executive peasant, who traded 3 magic beans for a cheap Bluetooth speaker. Josh Scar, the court jester, who spun straw into gold, yet can't make a simple crocheted scarf for protection against the bitter winter wind.
Josh needs it. They've had blizzards.
They have. He's in Ohio?
He's in Illinois.
Illinois, yeah.
Rockford.
Leo's in Ohio. Thanks to Daniel J. Buckets, the keeper of the bottomless porridge pot. To Chicken Tom, who will never stop clucking in our hearts. To Matt, our blacksmith, forging swords and shoes since 1587. To Monique from Germany, the sorceress of precision, who organized the woodland creatures according to alphabetical. To Joey. To Leo, the mysterious cloaked archer who never misses dinner. To refined gay Jeff, the enchanted duke of tasteful opinions. To Ryan Baker, the preparer of suspicious pies. To Mark and Rachel, the kindly innkeepers, and Dan and Gavin, the traveling twin bards who harmonize ominously. Special thanks to Chris Barron of the Spin Doctors for our theme song, to John Watson of 100 Things I Learned from Film for whatever it is he had to say to us, and to Ricky Kendall for our interstitial music.
Thanks, friends.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you, friends.
So until next week, you all take it easy. Check out Colin's podcast. Go into our back catalog. Like I said, almost 6 years of absolute utter rubbish that you will enjoy.
And go be kind.
Bye.
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 Lost my specs and lost my hair. Lost my keys, man, it ain't fair. Lost the plot and lost the thread. Lost the words inside my head. Lost the spring within my step. Lost the promises that I kept. Lost my way up concrete stairs. Lost the strength to even care. Lost my riz, lost my flex. Lost circumference from my pecs. Lost the urge to stay up late. Lost the need to celebrate. Lost my tight jeans situation. Lost my youthful reputation. Now I can't even wear them clothes that made me look like one of those cool alt-rockers on the scene, back when every day was green and possibilities were probable before my fight versus fat turned hostile. Lost the nerve to jump the queue. Lost the right to jump it too. Lost that look that used to say I'm going places anyway. Lost the swagger and the sway. Lost that certain je ne sais quoi. Lost the art of walking straight after drinking way too late. Lost the bounce back superpower. Now I need half a day per hour. Missed the bars that used to be. Missed the rounds I used to see. Missed the locals and their tales. Lost to time and age wholesale. Lost my old address book pages, gone to technological ages. Lost the numbers memorized when phones were dumb and brains were prized. Lost the need to make the scene. Lost the rage against machines. Lost the urge to break the rules. Lost my bucket of cheap tools. Lost the will to fix stuff up. Lost the point of keeping up with every latest thing they make when everything's about to break. Lost the thread of this here verse. Lost my way in getting worse. Lost pretending getting old is something that can be controlled. But here's the science of lost things. They leave behind their echoing in muscles that remember moves, in shoes recalling funky grooves, in records scratched up yesterday, and paper photos faded gray, and stories you still can tell about when you were raising hell. So maybe what we're losing most is just the need to be that ghost of who we thought we ought to be instead of who we've come to see in mirrors that will lie no more about what time has in store for all of us who dare to last beyond our glory days long past. And that's the truth of getting old. It's not the story you were told. It's not about the things you lose, but what it is you finally choose to keep in that beat-up leather case, carried at a slower pace.